Yo, what's going on? Beatdown Brown, Handsome Mandela, Handsome Beatdown, back for another one with y'all. Episode 7 in this piece. How you feeling, brother?
Man, just modulating.
I feel it. I feel it. Man, you brought up an interesting point, and I know usually we BS it in, keep it easy for a second, but you brought up an interesting point that I wanted to hit up here on this one for this episode. The hell's up with everybody selling their damn catalogs, man?
Inflation. This economy sucks ass.
I feel it. I feel it. What we're getting into right now is we're looking at the fact of you got some of the top of the game, top selling in the game, going and being like, you know what, and some of the not so top selling in the game up there, just like, you know what, holding on to all this publishing and everything like that. Let's get up out of it. And it's kind of wild. So you brought up, we had talked about this for a second before on a Dirty 30 a couple months back with Nelly making a deal selling off his catalog. And you were the one that caught it and what he didn't move. And I brought it up as a point, but go ahead. You want to go into it a little bit more thorough on?
Yeah, so at the time when y'all were talking about that, I had seen on an episode of The Shop, that show that LeBron's people has that he occasionally hosts sometimes with them. Well, he was talking about like what he was doing and stuff, and like he actually broke it down, and it was real smart what he was talking about. He was saying that actually what you do is you don't sell your catalog, you basically lease that shit. He said because after so many years, you get it right back anyway. So basically, you lease your catalog for so many years and then you get it back. So y'all were naming off the songs that he did sell or lease out, you know what I'm saying? But one of the songs that was not mentioned was Air Force Ones. Now, being as though I do the fashion podcast, which I got to get back to, stay tuned for that. But around the same time, also, I was looking at one of my sneaker websites, and I had just so happened to notice that Nike said that they were gonna pretty much not halt, but slow down the process of producing so many Air Force Ones. Now, when I say Air Force Ones, I'm basically talking about the white on white and black on black lows. You know what I'm saying? Which are basically, honestly, if this is one of those if you know things, but Air Force Ones, which came out back in what, like 1982, but has been the most popular Nike sneaker without any type of advertising, period, point blank. Like, yeah, they'll sell Jordans and all this stuff, but there'll be some type of, not even saying advertisement, but there'll be somebody to like endorse them and stuff. There has not been one dime of advertisement or endorsing these sneakers. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they basically got popular. Right. They basically got popular because of what? The Uptown Hustlers back in Harlem and everything and all that stuff. They was called the Uptowns because of that sole purpose. But anyway, so with fashion trends and fashion culture, you know for a fact, at some point in time, they're going to reproduce these again and probably mass produce slowly again. And what song to bring those back out? Air Force Ones. Because at the time when that song came out, shit was popping. You know what I'm saying? That was probably what, like 2001, 2002 when it's popping. I mean, it was like you could not go anywhere without seeing Air Force Ones all over the daggone place. So,
oh, dog, it and they haven't gone anywhere since then. I want to say also probably the most customized shoe, period, besides the fact of possibly the most cease and desist for their silhouette being stolen for everybody else's
Yeah, I was
brand
about to
too.
say that because I mean, it's not even just that. I mean, shoot, like you said, customizable and reproduced. I mean, you figure they just Nike just ended the issue with Bathing Ape, but
Okay.
shit. I mean, you could even go further to even luxury brands, bro. And I'm not just talking about the high-end brands that you see in like Saks Fifth and Neiman's. I'm talking about you go on one of those like Maury Gator websites and you got shoes that look like Air Force Ones that got reptile skin all over them. So I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
the shoe's phenomenal, bro.
Yeah. It's one of those ones. It's just like it's there. It's one of those. It's you can't escape the Air Force One. Nobody has a shoe that is back around. So to have the theme song for that one, and it's funny because you got a song going back to Run DMC with my Adidas and having the shell toes and being the one to kind of set everything off. It's funny how much you don't see shell toes as compared to how much you do see Air Force Ones everywhere.
Right.
Like craziness. And like I said, the customizers absolutely love them. Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
you go grab like you said, you got the Louis ones, but then yeah, when you go into the Maris and like that, and just have it there. So the fact that Nelly had the foresight, like you can have almost every song except for that one, and have that tucked to the side. Like, nope, I basically the ink is almost dry on that contract for the minute they decide to do it and hit that red button. Yeah, my paper is right back up because it's going to be an obscene amount for that cut to come out.
Because there can be at any given time that they can be like, you know what, or at any given time that again like I said with the fashion industry you never know what can pop, what influencer or what rapper or athlete can be like, you know what, I'm gonna wear these with this outfit, or I'm just gonna wear this specific shoe. It could be a specific type of wild colorway or something like that, and boom, people are gonna the demand is gonna be up for them again. And next thing you know, somebody on TikTok is gonna be an Air Force One challenge. Bomb. There you
Mm-hmm.
have it. There
I
you have it,
need two per, give me two per.
bruh. No, okay. So remember, I want to say this uh, was maybe a couple of years ago when they were doing some type of it was like a meme type thing, and it was just basically the person's picture, and it was just like it wasn't words, but it was just like pictures that were that you could do the words and you put the stuff together and it said whatever the phrase was they were famous for.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they had a picture of Nelly up there, and it basically said the phrase the phrase that this was spelled out was "give me two pair." So yeah, that's what he's basically known. Well, hot in here in Air Force One is basically what you know Nelly for, besides being from St. Louis.
Pretty much. And so,
And two, I mean, he got to think also he did. I don't know if he still does, but he did own a piece of the Charlotte Hornets. So I mean, common sense. If you kind of own a piece of a basketball team, not giving up your publishing for a basketball or a sneaker is kind of genius. It's brilliant. So
yep, yep. And so, with all that said, we're looking at the fact of so Nelly got what 100 mil out of that one. Um,
he got something slick out of it.
yeah, I think he got 100 mil out of that one. You got Dre when he was going through basically his push for Billy. Then you had him push off part of his NWA rights and like that, and two albums. He pushed off for 250. You got Timberland pushing his publishing off. RZA pushing his out there, going into other ventures. And then I didn't even look at the fact of Future sold off part of his catalog for 75. You got all these folks, and Future is a strange one for the simple fact of, and what I mean by a strange one is the fact that he is still relevant and still around at this moment. Pushing that off when you're still kind of really in your powers at this moment allows you to still retain another portion of what you got going on. You
Mm-hmm.
got Wiz Khalifa pushed part of his off. Logic was able to go and push his off for a few mil. I think it's like 10 or 15. And that enabled him to go on and change up and go dive into tech and crypto the way he did. And then I won't say the granddaddy of them all, but the first one who was like, all right, I'm going to audit you guys, go in, get my true paper off of it, and then go sell it off and go fully into tech and fuck all this one is Chameleonaire.
And now here's that one was the one was like, yo, okay, he set the trend for that. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
with everybody else following suit, it's like, okay, something that right there should open eyes and open ears too, because it's like, all right, if you got all these people selling off pieces of their publishing,
mm-hmm.
granted, it's cool to have your publishing and all that stuff, but if you're selling off pieces of your publishing, not the whole thing, because you got to have something. But
Right.
if you're selling off pieces of your publishing, there's a reason for it. And follow what they doing, see what they're doing and everything. And because there's a reason for it. There's something bigger behind it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like I said, it's crazy when you see the the moves that are made afterwards, the moves that are made during or whatever. And the fact of the matter, we have to look with the fact that there's no physicals being sold anymore right now at this moment, and everything is going into kind of like a stasis as far as what you're actually getting paid off this stuff at the moment. Outside of somebody having a foresight like a Nelly with the fact that, oh no, I'm holding on to that song because this is going to translate over to this. Yeah, pushing that off and getting a big bag right now and going and flipping that money into something else is actually the move, man. And so it's just wild. But you brought up something going back before, talking about money moves with catalogs. He was talking about the clips actually,
I was
and
just thinking about that shit too.
you brought up something valuable about the clips
Yeah.
because it's like one. Before I pass it over to you, the one power move, and I didn't realize, and this is what I always tell people: um, understand in hip hop, the bad thing, and I'm always an advocate for this, if everybody understanding, we got pigeonholed into the fact that your beat maker isn't just a dude hitting keys and is only a producer. A producer is a person who works for the overall good of the track. So that's the person that works with the mix engineer, works with the composers, works with the songwriter, works with the performing artist, and make sure everything happens to make that song good. That's what a producer does. So whether it's changing instruments, actually helping craft the song, craft the structure of the song, changing the way something's mixed down, going and getting someone else in to add on to that or whatever. That's what a producer does. Okay. But everybody that makes some form of music on that song, whether it is the lyricist, whether it is that beat maker or writers, because they're composers. So you're supposed to have
Mhm.
points on both sides. So your producer, so if I tell that beat maker, all right, yeah, take the drums out here. All right, you need to isolate just that sample here or just that guitar here or whatever. I'm now, as the lyricist, now a producer. Just like that beat maker, as in making that track, is now a writer. That's why you see Mr. Diggs' name on everything in the
Mhm.
writer's section because he made that beat, even if you didn't hear a verse when you looking at RZA. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So with all that said, the power move that came from Push when he got that Arby's deal, you don't even get the part where his vocals are on it from that track. You just get that dun 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 for the "We Got the Meats." And man is eating for the rest of his life off that as long as Arby's uses that. And Arby's don't change up much. That's crazy. Because he wasn't sitting up there behind the MPC, but he probably told the dude, hey, isolate them horn hits right there, that orchestra hit right there, isolate that and do this. So now he's a writer. He has those points on that as well as the producer, unless he honestly bought the producer out, you know what I'm saying, off top, that I don't know. But whatever the case is, homeboy's eating forever. But you brought up just like how Pharrell wrote Rump Shaker back in the day. Well, Push and Malice was up there doing stuff back in the day too. And please drop it.
So y'all know that phrase from McDonald's, the slogan, ba da ba ba ba. Yeah, the Clips wrote that. We didn't know that, but they wrote that. And they got paid $1 million altogether for that. But that's all they got paid was a flat out $1 million. Supposedly Steve Stout had brokered that deal for them. And all they got was that flat $1 million, 500,000 a piece. No royalties, no nothing else from that. So imagine had they got royalties, publishing, how fat they would be living. You know what I'm saying? Now, y'all remember when that came out. So the fact that Steve Stout brokered that deal for them, I'm figuring he probably could have got him a little bit something better for that. But in the same sense, even if McDonald's was just like, nah, we just gonna give him this flat $1 million for it, and that's it. Steve Stout, and then this is just my opinion. Steve Stout could have been like, all right, well, look, how about $1 million and a franchise? They still could have been living fat off of that franchise because that franchise could have put more franchises in other spots, and they could still be living ill off of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So a franchise could have been their version of their publishing, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not hating on what you're saying there. It's crazy when you look at getting rid of publishing, holding publishing, and what you're holding publishing on. And also, Cass always talk about, well, what can you do with a catalog? It was funny because I believe it was Lupe that was talking about this, when he said he demanded his masters. And they're like, okay. Like, so what you going to do with them? And he didn't have a plan in place. It's just like, okay, yeah, what am I going to do with them? Am I just going to have them sitting here in the living room to look at them or whatever like that? He's gotten better with that and a better understanding of that going forward in his career. But he's like, he said something and went on something because that's what he's told you wanted, but he didn't have anything in action and in place to actually do anything with it. So, with all that said, yeah, man, there's ways to work publishing. Because think about it. How many? I remember it wasn't Spit Your Game. What was the Notorious Thugs? Wasn't that Notorious Thugs that was popping up on every trailer?
Yeah.
Was that was popping up on like what, two Transformer movies and something else? It was like, oh,
Spit
this
your
is
game, talk your shit, grab your
yeah,
gag, call your click. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's like, dog, that's the power of that one song or those three songs from whatever, keeping holding back out of that publishing sale. Or why all of a sudden selling your publishing becomes valuable because, yeah, you might not always have the machine behind you in place to go and set up those deals or have that super agent slash super lawyer to go and broker those deals of like, okay, what's the next blockbuster out? Oh yeah, you need this song for that joint.
I mean, bruh, look at Sir Mix-a-Lot just off of Baby Got Back alone. I mean, and she might be the predecessor to that because he owns all of his masters.
Yeah.
Just off of that song, just off of that one song that he made back in what, 92?
Yeah. And he's like, I'm never giving it up. He's like, because the fact of the matter is, the minute you want to use it or use some variation of it, you got to come holler at me. And we made I don't know
How
whether
many
it's,
how many movies alone and commercials has that variation of that song been used? Not
dog.
even has it been remade, but just been used.
I told you, man, that the crazy part about that one, Ed and I joked about that one. Besides, like you said, it popping up everywhere. Then the fact that Nicki Minaj was like, "Yeah, I'm going to redo it, and it's going to get more traction for that." He's like, if I Sir Mix-a-Lot, I'd be like, "Hey, I still got that huge button storage. I can roll that joint out, get a couple touch up, get a
Right.
couple touch up coats of paint on that joint. We could break it out. What color do you want it? You got a certain
Right.
tattoo you want on the cheek?
Right.
We can roll this joint back out." And I remember back when we was doing it, was like, "Oh yeah, man, I want to make a lasting catalog or something." Else. Nah, dog. I need that one hit
Just
wonder
did.
move, man. I need that. I need that. Forget viral, cause see, everybody looks at viral now, and it's cool and it's cute or whatever. And it's like viral is one thing, but that's mainly clout. When things went viral back in the day, you have to understand how much that's a part of the lexicon. We didn't have the internet like that back in the day. So that meant that literally that's being talked about forever. So sitting on publishing for that, or even, I wonder what mix would charge for that publishing. Just out of curiosity, if somebody was to give him the Godfather deal, what's the Godfather deal to get Baby Got Back off of Sir Mix-a-Lot? I'm real curious to what that number is, because
It's got
yeah,
to be
that
something crazy. I mean,
that
but but like you said though, but just think, okay, you're right. You don't want to go viral because viral is too close to virus. It'll spread, but you're eventually going to get a cure for it and it's going to go away.
mm-hmm.
I mean, you do want that. You want that one hit, again, hit, because let's just think about this shit for real. Okay, like you said, we got Baby Got Back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Young MC. Who's talked about Young MC? That's
That
the one person in the source to ever get one mic. But Bust the Move is still having to where this man really ain't got to do shit for the rest of his life.
dog, seriously.
Not just that, Vanilla Ice.
Well, shook.
Hey, but Suge knew what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, he rebirthed his career off of that one song. And
Yeah.
the man is still a millionaire off of that one song.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. And the funny thing about, like you said, with going back to, I don't think about just Bust a Move, but the fact of the matter is, any non-black movie that goes and wants to talk about growing up in the late 80s, that's like literally the first song that they're singing, that's playing in the background, that's soundtracked in. That's crazy right there. How that runs right there. So yeah, whether it's holding your publishing or selling your publishing, it's crazy with how the music business is. And then also on some Kenny Rogers shit / Wyclef, knowing when to hold them and knowing when to fold them, knowing which part of it is like, oh, all of this is superfluous. Take all of that one, but leave me with these two.
Mm-hmm.
You can have everything else. I'm pretty sure Sir Mix-a-Lot could care less, besides aesthetically, about my posses on Broadway. Still one of my favorite joints. I'm sorry, love that joint.
Bruh, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it still gets remade though, and The way that shit hit in them speakers, bruh.
Dog, my posse's on Broadway is crazy.
Listen.
Bitch.
I gotta do. Like back in the day when I was working in Cleveland, he was an electrician
Mm-hmm.
and he knew how to wire that shit. He had a Hummer. I don't know if he still got it. He had 112 in the back of that shit. But you could hear him 3 blocks away. So, hey, how loud is your shit? And that was his test song. Posse's like, hold up, watch this. He go to the hard drive, put it on, cover your ears. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, enough said. So I mean, I don't know how you feel about that. I mean, that shit still hit. I mean, the only song I would think that he might not care about, that's still one of my favorites, is My Hoopty. But
Oh wow, yeah. Yeah. It
I
yeah,
mean, yeah,
catalogs is crazy, man. And what you do with them, how you flip them, how you and like you said, with the fact that that ownership can revert back after so long on these things, or letting them move around and you mess around and get a death row situation where somebody goes and exhausts it on the front end, and then they after a while lose, either they don't handle their money right and then it falls into a holding where somebody's like, I don't know what I'm doing with this one.
yeah,
Okay,
because
let me go
there's
grab this
that
up for the
too.
cheap. Let me go
There's
grab
that
this up for the
too.
cheap. Because even we just covered it with that Wu-Tang album. Yeah, it's on the rise right now. So yeah, it got recovered for twice what it was purchased for in the beginning. But okay, let's just say they go crazy on this crowdsourcing and this album comes out in the next 5 years. It's going to, besides the fact that it's out, it's going to sell for a greatly reduced amount, or even revert back to regular Woo publishing after a while once it actually hits the streams. And then that's going to be a thing of where it can be acquired back again for nothing. Because I have a, in full honesty, we did the math on it for, if you're strictly going through the $1 pay model that
Mm-hmm.
they were doing before,
Mm-hmm.
somebody's going to, some groupings of folks, even if it's just some prince over in some country, you know what I'm saying, in the Arabic Peninsula or whatever, they're going to be like, oh, nah, this has got to be out there. That 29 million is going to happen without a problem.
Oh, no doubt.
And once that 29 million that hits that corporation, somebody's going, hell, that 29 million might hit that corporation on a, well, what else are y'all doing that y'all trying to crowdfund like this for? Well, let me underwrite this, but in my underwriting, this is to push this album out. So once again, once the album pushes out, that's once again stuff, like I said, that might be, I won't say that it's going to be full out death row scrap heat sitting in Hasbro's back end, but yeah, I can see that going right back into the Wu Holdings as far as their publishing coming back to them, and that's going to be a wild situation. I'm wonder, and this is just, I don't know how they wrote that contract, but I know they sitting back lightweight kicking themselves in the tail like, yo, we should have had any future sales we get a percentage off of, because that 4 million and now this crowdsourcing, I
Mm-hmm.
definitely need a piece of that pie. But the one beautiful thing with everybody working their angles and selling what they're selling, if you all are taking your notes, folks, take your notes on the fact of, this is how you do it with getting everything back. This is how you
Mm-hmm.
get it with getting your money on the back end, because this is about to, off of one album, this is about to be crazy. Like, one, Nipsey showed y'all, but I was even watching an interview with Mac Hami, and what Mac Hami was doing was selling physicals at crazy prices and exclusive crazy price physicals where you couldn't even get the digital download of them. Like, dog, value your art and watch how you assign your publishing on actions.
That part, that part. Because I mean, and then on top of that, you got to think too, as far as like you were saying, being strategic with what songs you sell and everything,
Hmm.
because you never know. I mean, look at look at Illmatic. I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, Search sold his portion of it, which I think he said might have been like 2%.
Hmm.
But think about this. That season of the Ozarks, where they basically played the whole album, was basically the soundtrack to that season. Them streams went up crazy for that shit.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? You never know when like somebody is gonna pick up or want to purchase your use your shit for something. So
you don't know who a fan of you is. And
that part,
especially when you're not making microwave music, or that part of your catalog isn't microwave music.
that
So the
part.
fact of getting a hold of that action, that's why I laugh at everybody. And also looking at the cycles of how long uh consensus, how do I want to state this? A song that defines an era, how long that song bubbles and comes up to the top and goes in. It's I'm laughing at everybody right now that's tired of Not Like Us right now, right? And even people making jokes about like, oh, reason why Kendrick can never be the dopest cat up there. Nas and Jay never have to perform Takeover or Ether again when they go do shows. Like, you do realize Kendrick's not going to have to perform Not
You
Like
don't gotta
Us.
perform
Going
that
for
song. Everybody else is performing. Everybody else is singing that shit.
Yeah, this was for this time. But looking at the cycles, like, dog, that song came out in May. Am I correct?
Yeah,
It
beginning
hasn't
of
been
May.
it hasn't been out that long. It's just that outside of Drake cuts that you were able to laugh off, and the fact of he has such a bad deal that he has to keep dropping songs on top of songs. You don't realize dropping albums on top of albums. You don't realize how much, I'll just say, Hotline Bling was everywhere. And the only
Mm-hmm.
reason why Hotline Bling didn't get the bubble longer is because the horribleness of this cat's contract, he had to come right back on top of it with something that was equally, that had equal virality. That Kiki, Are You With Me was fucking everywhere. But he had to come up on top of it with something else with equal virality because his contract sucks. Kendrick's contract doesn't suck, so he could sit back and let this bubble. His album was supposed to drop in May. He had to back off the album because this song is blowing like it is. And the fact of the matter that it's basically gone past the litmus test and it's gone into the culture so deeply. I won't say it's going to push his album back, but this is might be the new Bust a Move. This might be the new, whatever joint, because it's gone past the fact of diss track status. It's gone to the
Bruh,
fact of
real
this is
shit.
a chant.
I hate to say it, but with the way shit has been going these past few weeks, he may have to redo that song and change the lyrics because that shit might have to be the new campaign song for Kamala Harris. Real shit. I hate to say it.
Well, see, going on some only Californians know it shit, he might not let that ride. He
Oh
might not
yeah, no
let that
doubt.
ride. What she did when she was the attorney general there, that
Oh
that
no
might be
doubt.
a cease and desist if that ever
I
even
can dig
comes
it.
up.
I can dig that. But I mean, I'm
But
just saying
I do feel it.
the infectiousness of it and all that.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
I can dig. I can see both sides of it, no doubt.
yeah. That might be one of those. That phone call probably already happened. I'm gonna let you know off top. That phone call happened, and that phone call probably ended with like, "I just called this Canadian a colonizer."
Well, the thing
You
is, I
and look,
mean, she did say the song was real cringeworthy. So I mean, I mean, she probably already was like, nah, I ain't coming out to that shit as is. So
Well, here goes the whole thing about it. Where's her family from? Her family's from Canada. And look, so in all actuality,
oh,
and
gotcha.
look,
Yeah.
she ain't rocking. She ain't rock with that. And the fact of the matter is, like I said, she done put more LA dudes in jail than the
I
law
know.
allowed. Kenny ain't
Facts.
letting that ride.
Facts.
If he do, then we definitely know the fact of the matter is he's not in charge of his catalog.
No doubt.
But yeah, that one right there would be because I thought about that because honestly, on all jokes involved, I thought about that for Trump getting the cease and desist for trying to jump on that real quick.
I wonder if he get one from 50 for coming out to many men.
Oh, 50 up there. You watch the show. 50 up there propping up. 50 got the meme pic behind him with Trump's head on his
Oh,
body while he's finishing his tour off. The producer is pissed about it. I don't recall who did the beat on that one. The producer is pissed about it. I saw an article about that.
funny.
Let's see. Let's see. Who was that? Dig a Branch
Okay.
and Luis Resto. So
Okay.
I think Digga came out like real pissed about that one. That it's being used by him. So yeah, but well, it's being mocked around him. He's not directly using it, but yeah, 50's falling right into it because one
Just because it's
troll,
50.
it's 50
It's
and
50.
troll
It's
and
50.
a troll with a troll. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So a troll with a troll, he's all with it. So yeah,
Yes.
that's what you got right there. But
That's funny.
anything else you want to clean up on this one right here?
Uh, I think we pretty much covered that one.
Yeah, I think we mopped it up on this one right here, man.
Yeah.
Anybody remember? Always stay in the comments. Always let us know what we missed, what we didn't catch, or whatever. But we just wanted to cover that one real quick. We definitely thank y'all for sticking with us and being around for that. But it's time for us to slip up out. And once again, like, share, subscribe, stay in the comments, check out all our people in the Schwable room, and we out of
Word.
here.
That
Peace.
part.
All right, I'm still here with you. I need to slip over here real quick. We're gonna do this last one real quick, but I gotta because I'm still on StreamYard free. I had to go back and slip over to the library and erase an episode out of the library. Make sure we got room for this.
All right.
All right, did it. We good to go. All right, so you said you easily got your songs for the
Nigga, I got albums.
okay, because the only reason why I'm not going into albums or artists per se is strictly for the fact of I got when I start doing a solo show, I got a little section called "Late to the Party," where
Got you.
it's the most of the stuff that I would list off that is the case of it's just like, oh, I was late to that, and
No, I do have songs. It's songs.
okay, I mean, but if you got a whole album and you want
No,
to
I got songs and albums, but I mean, no, I can pick apart shit. It's not a problem.
most deaf. All right, I'm bringing it back up.
Bet on.